Hey, welcome back inside the mind of Matt. And if you saw my ramps conversion videos, I've converted my Melzy board to a ramps board and completely redid my monoprice maker select. In this video, I'm going to open up Marlin and go through some of my settings, and then I'm going to open up a little plugin in Octoprint and show you how I can control and calibrate and change the settings on my printer on the fly. You want to see? Stay tuned. Alright, so let's get right into it. We're going to jump right on the computer and we're going to open up our Marlin. Now, if you don't have your Marlin on your desktop, I've left a link in the description as to where you can get the latest version. You're also going to need a version of Arduino. If you don't have that installed yet, you're going to want to have both of them, and I'll leave a link in the description where you can get that as well. So once you do have your version of Marlin downloaded and onto your computer, you're going to want to open up. You're going to want to find the Marlin INO file. Alright, now once Marlin opens, the main tab that you're going to want to focus on is the configuration H. And we're just going to start at the top, and I'm going to scroll through and draw your attention to anything that might need to be changed. So, and if you'll notice that they're kind of broke down into little sections and there's all kinds of text, so if you read, it's kind of self-explanatory as to what it's for, and we can go from there. So you'll definitely want to make sure that your baud rate is set at 115/200. Now the other thing that I'm going to note is, see these double lines here? Anytime we want to uncomment anything, we're going to delete that and leave it so that there's just a hashtag in front of it. So change your baud rate. The next thing you're going to want to change is your motherboard. Now if you're not sure, this is actually the number for the board that I'm using. I'll leave a link in the description for that as well. And this is a Ramps 1.4 board. If you're not sure, you can always click over here, scroll down until you find boards and open that up, and if you see number 43 is a Ramps with a hot end, fan, and bed. So that's what I'm using. Next thing, if you want to, you can give your printer a custom name. As you see, I've given mine Mo. One extruder, make sure that that's set. Let's see, we're going to go down, keep scrolling. Here's where we're going to do some changes as well. Your Thermo Settings. Now once again, I have the E3D Titan arrow, so all my numbers are going to match up to that, which I'm using number 5 for my hot end extruder, you see right here, for my hot end heater, and number 1 is for my hotbed. Next thing, I have the minimum temperature reading is 5, so if it reads below 5, then it's going to shut the machine down with the thermal overload, as well as the high side for both the bed and the extruder. Now I'm using an all metal hot end. If you're using a PTEF tubing, then you might want to set this for like 250 to 260 so that you don't melt your tube. Now the PID settings, I'll leave this here. You can actually copy these if you want, but I suggest that you do a PID tuning of your own, and I'll show you later how you can change that with the Octoprint plugin. And then your bed as well, you can do a bed temp or a bed PID tuning. These are the default settings, I believe, that came with Marlin. There is one thing I just want to, we haven't got to that yet. So, all right, the thermal runaway protection, you definitely want to make sure that both of these are enabled. So it should look just like this with no hashtags in front of it, or no lines, these guys. All right, so the end stops was another area where I had to adjust your X, Y, and your Z. In the stock, I believe it says false. I had to change all mine to true in order for it to read the end stops correctly. This next section is going to be your E steps. Now this, once again, is your X, Y, Z, and your extruder, just like it says here. These three are your stock from the Monoprice Maker Select, and this one corresponds with the arrow. It's a little high, like I said before, so you're definitely going to want to do an E-step calculation as well. Now these feed rates and acceleration and your acceleration, retraction, and travel, these are all settings that can be changed on the machine themselves. If you use these, you'll get the same results I do, but these are also stuff that you can change in the Octoprint plugin that I'm going to show you in a minute. The Z-stop options I didn't do anything with because I'm manual bed leveling. Now this is another important section right here. This is actually where you're going to set up your bed size. And mine are actually a little off. I'm going to change it in case I ever have to do another upload. But this is where you're going to define your X, Y, and your Z. Bed leveling we're not doing anything with. This lower section is basically dealing with your sensors. Now this next thing here is I have enabled my EEPROM settings so that I could use the Octoprint settings as well as the on-screen display. Now note that any EEPROM settings that are changed on the machine will not reflect the settings that you put in here. They will actually override any of the settings that you put in here and will be saved on the machine no matter how many times you upload Marlin. It'll save it unless you do a different software or different firmware. I haven't done this, but your EEPROM settings should stay, and that's where I'm going to show you you can change those with the Octoprint plugin. So this next section here is your LCD support and SD support. And once again, I use Octoprint, so I do not have my SD enabled, but if you're going to print that, then just delete the two hashes. And next you're going to want to make sure that your settings for your screen, where did it go? Well, let's go back up here real quick. I want to talk about this right here. Reverse menu direction. When you get through, if you don't change this, then moving it clockwise will actually move your values down, and moving it counterclockwise will make it go up. So if you reverse your menu directions, it'll seem more natural. But I don't use my knob that often because, once again, I use Octoprint. Now we should be getting somewhere. These are all the settings for the LCD display, and this is the one that I have uncommented and made my settings. Now if you turn your machine on after you've uploaded and your screen doesn't work, then you've obviously entered something wrong in this section. So you'll have to go back, find the right display settings, re-upload your sketch, return your machine on, and get your display working. That will be the most important thing, because without the display you're not going to be able to do anything. And most of this other stuff down here is not pertinent to anything that we are going to need. So at this point your sketch should be ready to check and upload, and it should work properly. Now once it does, now I'm going to show you the Octoprint plugin that you can use to change your EEPROM settings with Marlin. Alright, so here we are in the Octoprint interface. And you see I am connected to Mo. Now if you don't have this plugin, I'm going to show you where to get it and what it's going to do. So first you're going to want to go to Plugin Manager, get more, and search for the EEPROM for Marlin. But I already have it installed, so let's take a look at it. This is the EEPROM Marlin Editor plugin, and if I load from the EEPROM, you'll see here has all my settings where I can change my steps per millimeter, my feed rate, my maximum acceleration, any of my offsets. I can change my PID settings. I can change my stock heat up presets, my filament size, and all these advanced settings down here. Simply change it, then I can upload my EEPROM and it'll save it right on my machine, so every time I reboot it, it'll be the same. And on that note, anytime you do make an EEPROM setting, it's suggested that you reboot the machine so that those settings are loaded in. So there you have it. That's my Marlin settings and how I change them on the fly using Octoprint. Now, although a lot of this information is a little confusing and it's a little bit of time consuming to go through each one of the settings and make sure that you have right. But if you do, take your time and choose all these settings, and you will get your machine running right. If you do have any questions, any information that you'd need, any corrections you'd like to make sure that you leave them down in the comment section. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe before you leave, check out all my affiliate links, and a big thank you to my first Patreon supporter. I appreciate it. I'll be giving you a shout out by name in an upcoming video. But anybody else that would like to join him, check out my Patreon link. I hope this helps. This concludes the ramps conversion series. Unless you guys want another video on anything that I've done during this conversion. So I hope this information is helpful. Happy printing, good luck upgrading, and be safe pouring. Thanks again everybody for stopping inside of mine and Matt. Have a great day.